How's it going, guys? My name is Ryan with Red Rum Productions. This is going to be my team preview of the Philadelphia 76ers season. The rebuild of the 76ers are one of my favorite stories in the NBA. While many people aren't fans of the tanking strategy, I think it is a legitimate way to rebuild a franchise. I will be making a video in the future discussing my opinion when it comes to tanking in the NBA. Back to the 76ers though. Their rebuild has finally started to pay off with a visit to the Eastern Conference semifinals last season. In all likelihood, they should be improving again this season. Their starting roster is very straightforward, being the same as last season's. It will be Ben Simmons at point guard, JJ Redick, Robert Covington, Dario Sarich, and finally, Joel Embiid at center. Ben Simmons was probably one of the most hated players in the league last season because of the whole Rookie of the Year drama. But you do not get to be hated if you are not a good player. A lot has already been said about Ben Simmons, so I will not go on regurgitating well-known information. But he is a great player who can pass, rebound, and drive to the basket. As many know, he does need to work on his jump shot if he wants to be an elite point guard, but the 76ers have plenty of shooters to cover up his sole weakness. One of these shooters is JJ Redick. JJ Redick is one of the most underrated players in the entire league, whose shooting percentages are some of the best in the league, shooting 42% from three-point range. He scored 17 points a game last season, providing much needed floor spacing on this team. Robert Covington is an aggressive wing for the 76ers, a player that fits another role that the 76ers are missing. He is a good fit on the team. He is a great wing defender who can steal the ball well. He could afford to improve his shooting, but the threat of him shooting does well to space the floor even more for Ben Simmons. Dario Sarich is another great young player on this team. He fills a similar role that Covington does, but he does it differently. He is not the same athlete that Covington is, which shows on the defensive end, but his shooting is much more efficient than his teammate. Joel Embiid is quickly becoming one of the best players in the league. I already talked about him in my previous video about what players have the best chance at winning MVP, but I will summarize my points about him. Embiid is a dominant defender who's one of the league's leaders in blocks and rebounds. His offense is also very strong though, being the leading scorer on this team last season. I am not worried about the starters on the 76ers, but their bench does leave some to wish from. The guard depth on this roster is the best that they have. They have Markelle Fultz, Jared Bayless, Landry Shamet, TJ McConnell, and Zaire Smith. Markelle Fultz has a lot to live up to in this season. The former #1 pick only played in 14 games last season, and when he did play, he did not look too impressive. Questions about his health surrounded the entire season. But if he is able to live up to his play in college, then he should be a solid sixth man. I think TJ McConnell will see an increased role this season after a decent series against the Celtics in the playoffs, providing more shooting that this team needs. Zaire Smith is a raw prospect who will be one of the youngest players in the league. He shot 45% from a shorter three-point line in college, so watch for him to be a potential X-factor on this team. Forwards coming off the bench for this team are Wilson Chandler and Mike Muscala. Wilson Chandler is coming from Denver and is a good athlete who can shoot well, but needs to work on his shot selection to be more efficient. Mike Muscala is the backup power forward coming over from Atlanta last season. He is a solid three-point shooter, but needs to work on his rebounding and improve defensively. The backup center is Amir Johnson. Johnson is a player who does the little things. He does not shoot often, but he can rebound well and is quick enough to defend smaller players. He is undersized though, so he can get bullied in the paint by larger centers. Overall, this team is probably going to be the third seed in the Eastern Conference. Westgate has the team's win total at 54.5 games. I see this as a fair assessment of the team's skills. With veterans that fill roles that their young stars cannot fill, this is a very well-rounded lineup. Going back to Markelle Fultz, I do hope for him to step up this season, and depending on what happens with him, that could shake up the league farther. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and comment your opinions. Once again, thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.